I've never made a video like this before, and I don't even know how long we're actually going to keep this up on the internet for, but still, I've got a lot to talk about. Mostly, I don't know why I would do this to myself, but I'm dropping an album and going on a tour in the same month, within a few days of each other. My new album, Pressure, drops October 29th. My tour starts October 25th. Which one should we talk about first? We're going on a full headline tour. The Drag Me From Hell tour starts October 25th. It's 27 days, 27 or 28? 27. If you don't know, I'm talking to Andrew off camera. Andrew's my drummer, videographer. He does all the videos and everything. So if you hear a voice, it's his voice.
Hello.
That I'm trying to sound crazy. We start in Sacramento. You can check all the dates right here. Andrew, this is where you're gonna throw all the dates, or just the flyer. I think we should have the dates. What do you think?
Probably the flyer.
But if you have the dates, you can actually see all of them. I don't know what he's doing right now, but it's going to have something. We're going on the full headline tour, the Drag Me From Hell tour. We're playing a lot of songs off of this album, plus all the mainstays that always are in the set, all the old classics. Pickle Rick, Free Verse 3, TED Talk, Villain, Endgame, Numb. What else are we playing? Martian, Save Yourself. Help me out. You know the set better than I do. Maybe not.
For the old stuff?
We're playing a lot. We're playing a lot of. It's a long set.
Down.
It's like a 17 songs, maybe 18 songs on the set. It's a hefty boy, and it's by far gonna be the best tour we've done. I'm really excited. We're playing a lot of markets we haven't been to in a while. Playing some new markets that I've never headlined in before ever, which is crazy. But there's some like Albany, Buffalo, Nashville. I've never headlined in these cities ever. Billings, Omaha, Ferndale, which is like Detroit, essentially. There's a lot of markets that I haven't ever headlined before where the tickets are selling really well. So I'm really excited. But also stressed because touring is stressful. Selling tickets for tours is stressful. I feel like it's something a lot of artists don't want to talk about. Something I don't even want to talk about because I think there's this idea that if you're not selling tickets to your shows, you're maybe not as, I don't know what the word, popular as people think you are, or you're not connecting in the way that you're supposed, whatever it is, man. But the fact of the matter is that touring is rough right now for a lot of artists. A lot of people are having a hard time selling tickets, and a lot of it is marketing because of the way things work on social media. You can't engage with your own audience, and there's a lot of factors to it. But I mean, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't stressed just about headlining in general is a way more of responsibility. Like the entire thing rides on you. The thing I'm least worried about for this entire thing is the actual performance. Like I know we're gonna crush the actual shows, but it's the logistics of traveling, making sure your crew is happy and taken care of, because those people are like putting their life on hold to go out and do these shows and live on the road with you, which is a big deal.
Thanks, man.
Obviously hoping that the tickets sell well, hoping that the fans enjoy the show and that you can bring them what they feel their money is worth, especially in meet and greets, man. I love doing meet and greets. Absolutely, it's one of my favorite things to do, but there is an inherent stress level that comes with a meet and greet of like, how do I bring value to this interaction? As a human being, I'm like, there's nothing special about me. Why does anybody want to fucking do a meet and greet with me? But I understand at the same time being a fan of artists and wanting to meet those people and be like, hey, this is what your music means to me. This is what the song means to me. Yo, also, can I ask you, like, what were you thinking when you made this song? Or what did this song mean to you? Or what's your favorite thing that you made? Or what was going through your head when this, like, I think that shit is really, really cool. There's a piece of me that just wants to make sure that I'm bringing value and that I'm the best version of me for the people showing up for meet and greets, because that's what you need to do. If people are paying money that they've gone out and had to earn in order to meet you for a little while and hang out, that to me is like, it's a big fucking deal, man. That's not something I take lightly. So there is an inherent stress and just pressure, for lack of better words. Well, since we just got our albums in hand, this is the first time I've actually been able to look at it and see it for what it is. You guys have been asking me for like the last, I don't know, year and a half. I think ever since Hole in Your Head came out. No, it's probably before that. Because I guess Mia Goth was the first time anybody had ever heard me rap over something that was heavy. And Mia Goth went heavy as fuck. So the first time I was actually doing something over a metal song or something like that was Mia Goth. And what's funny, because I actually did the verse for Mirror with Catch Your Breath probably like 2 months before I even did the Mia Goth one. It didn't end up coming out till maybe like a year and a half after, but I had already been kind of dabbling and playing around with collabs in this genre and all kinds of stuff. But after Mia Goth came out, everyone was like, dude, this is crazy. When are you going to drop a heavy album? We want something like this from you. We've been playing around with the sound and didn't know if we were actually going to do anything with it. But then we made Hole in Your Head, and I was like, dude, we just got to drop this. And we got the tour From Ashes to New, and we were about to go out on this rock tour as a hip hop act. So I'm like, yo, we need to put out this track that's heavier, because I just knocked it off. But we got to put this on. We got to put the song out because it's something that I could play on this tour, and it would make sense. And the song is dope. And the reception from that song was really the thing that really catapulted and started this entire album process. A Hole in Your Head was like, okay, we have to go down this path and we have to make this record and really dive in and figure out how I fit into the sound, how we can incorporate these new elements that I grew up obsessed with. Like, I grew up obsessed with Linkin Park and Papa Roach and Korn and Slipknot and heavy music, but didn't ever see how I could incorporate it into my sound until we started with Hole in Your Head. We figured out what the sauce is and know how to actually do it. I don't know, what's the word you would use for that? It was the inception point of my new album, Pressure. It is my favorite album that I've ever made. To me, it's the most cohesive and it's the most intentional of all of the records that I've put out. All the Detour albums I love, absolutely. But as we were making it, it always felt like, let's make a bunch of really cool songs, and at the end, we'll kind of put them together and make this sort of compilation, sort of album, and we'll make them fit with each other throughout the process. But there was no intentionality of, is that a word, intentionality? It is now. I wasn't being intentional with the sound and with the message of the Detour albums. I love them all, but that just wasn't what I was going for. Whereas Pressure, that's exactly what the idea was to make a record that had the same feel throughout, the same elements, and kind of wove a story. And I didn't know what the story was until like halfway through. And every time I talked to somebody, because the songs were doing well and because we were being accepted into this new sound and this new world, and because the tours were going well and the song got picked up on Octane and was crushing, and all I felt was this pressure to deliver something great, and I didn't know if I had it. And every time someone was like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? How are you feeling? Every time it was the same feeling. It was like, all I feel is pressure. I wasn't feeling joy. I wasn't really feeling any sadness. I wasn't feeling anything at all except the overwhelming pressure to make something great. And the more I talked about it, I was just like, that's the album to me. That's the overarching feeling I've had this entire time. And every song that we made that I knew was good and I knew was going to end up on an album and I knew was going to resonate with people was a small release of that pressure. And I love it. It's my favorite album I've done. It's called Pressure. Drops October 29th. You got the opening song, Pressure, which to me, an album is only as good as its opening track. You have to have an incredible opening track if you want an album to mean something. And to me, as soon as I got the instrumental for this song and I started writing to it, I knew that's what this was going to be. I knew it was going to be Pressure. And I had this idea to have like this sort of Siri sounding, digital sounding Pressure voice pop in. It kind of almost wrote itself at that point. And you got Pressure, you got Hole in Your Head, you got Hurt Myself with Nate Vickers, which has become a staple of the set and one of my best performing songs and one of my favorite songs. And I'm just glad to have the song with Nate on this record. Coffin Made for Two is one of the unreleased tracks that are on the album. And this one's interesting. Coffin Made for Two is, I did an open verse for From Ashes to New. Before we did the second leg of the Blackout tour, Matt hit me and was like, yo, I'm going to send you an open verse to do for Nightmare, you know, help promote the tour and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, sick, let's do it. So he sent it to me and I wrote the verse. I loved it. I put it online. Everybody was like going crazy over it. Like, when is this going to be an actual remix? And then when we were on the tour, I started doing it on stage with them during their set. I think it was like the second to last song on every set that they did, and I would come out and I performed the song with them, and I made it real. I made a video about crashing their set. The verse it went viral on all the platforms, and everybody's like, when are you going to put out a remix of this verse? When are you going to put this verse out? And they had already been through their album cycle and everything, so there was no real talks of actually putting out this remix, but everybody did really enjoy it. So I was like, let's try and make a new song out of this verse. Can we take this verse and make a completely new track around it to where it's original, does not sound like Nightmare, does not sound like anything else, and has a completely different message, completely different everything? Can we do that? And if so, I would love to put this verse on the album. And the song that came out of that is Coffin Made for Two. And it's actually going to be the album single because it is one of my favorite songs on this album. And I think it's one of the strongest songs on here. The chorus, Coffin Made for Two, is about being in a toxic relationship that's going to end up taking both of you out, but can you build a coffin made for two? Good Things, obviously, with Low Spirit. There was no way the song was not going to be on the record. That's one of my favorite songs I've ever done. It's become one of my most listened to songs ever, and Low Spirit is just one of my favorite artists making music right now, period. So anytime I get to work alongside him, I just feel privileged, and it makes me feel good as an artist. It's like one of the greats being like, hey, come play with me, and let's play this 2-on-2 match. And I'm like, me? Like, you want to fucking make a song with me? Okay, let's go. I just always felt incredibly lucky and privileged to be able to make a song with Low Spirit and to be able to make multiples. There's 2 songs with Low Spirit on this record. Do we have a side project coming out that Good Things will also be on? You'll have to wait and see what's going to happen in 2025. It's going to be a crazy year. For now, it's just here. So after that, we got Save Me featuring 0936. We just dropped that. I had to make it a single. I wanted to have its time in the limelight. I mean, these songs are back to back on the record, and they're 2 of my favorite songs of all time. After that, we got Self-Destruct, also a brand new song that has never been heard before. It's going to be on the album. Nobody Like Me with Tech 9. I got a Tech 9 feature on this album. This album is nuts, dude. The fact that it's got features with Low Spirit and Zero and Tech 9 and Sky Daddy and Senses Fail, who I grew up with, it's like this album is, to me, the most solid work I've put out in a long time. No Way Out. Throw 'em a Sky Daddy. Everybody's been loving that song, and I do too. Sky Daddy absolutely crushed it. Drag Me From Hell. We named the entire tour off of this song because I loved it so much, and I knew it was that strong. I was like, that's the name of the tour. I was like, is it going to be the Pressure Tour? I was like, it doesn't sound that fucking cool, man. I don't know. What do we do? I talked to a bunch of people on the team. What are we going to name the tour? It's a very important thing to figure out what you're going to name your tour. And I was like, the Drag Me From Hell tour. That's fucking dope. I can build a tour around that name, and I'm really, really glad we did. Wasted, like I said, with Buddy from Senses Fail. Incredible. I've been listening to Senses Fail since I was a teenager, man. That's dream come true type of collab. The Sound of Falling, one of my favorite songs that I've ever made. It gets so loud inside my head. That is like my shit. Hello Loneliness with Low Spirit. That one's a long time coming. That never ended up on any projects. And it was like, dude, there's no way it doesn't make it on this album. We close it out with a song called The One Who Holds the Light. For my money, that's maybe the most introspective song on this record. I was in like a group therapy session, randomly enough, and the counselor was talking about a story he had read about a man who was trying to figure out all these things about himself, and he was shining all the lights. He was shining a light on all the dark nooks and crannies of his soul, trying to find out, who am I? Why do I do the things I do? Who is this actual person? And having to go into these dark corners and these shadows and illuminate it and look at a bunch of things you don't want to look at to find out who you really are. And he did all this work and shined all these lights and figured out all these things out. But at the end of the day, still didn't know the one who holds the light. That like resonated so heavily with me that it became the impetus for this entire song. It's maybe the strongest lyrically. The second verse is maybe my favorite verse on this entire album. So, Pressure, October 29th. You can get signed copies in the merch store. You can grab them on tour and get them signed. Whatever you want, just go get it. I really hope you love it. It means a lot that we've been able to make an album like this, an album that I never thought I would be able to make, a sound that I never thought we'd be able to capture. And to me, this feels like the most me of anything I've ever made and the most unique of anything that I've ever done. And we do this all independent, which is crazy. And the further along I get in this, I start to understand why every industry person I've met has told me how crazy it is that we do this all independently. And I'm always like, yeah, sure, dude. But it's all I've really ever known. But the bigger it gets, I understand why people are like, yo, that's pretty fucking crazy that you guys are doing this all on your own. And it is. It's probably fucking insane. It's going to take years off of my life, but it's worth it in the moment because we're able to do it the way we want to do it. Nobody's going to tell me what I can and can't put out or how I can put it out or what I can talk about. Nobody's going to tell me what cities I can or can't play, what the show can look like, anything like that. We control everything, for better or for worse. If we fuck up, it's on us and I can own it. But that's better than having to say, yeah, guys, sorry, my label said I can't do this. Or my label said I can't put this. Fuck that, dude. That being said, it really falls on your guys' shoulders. Sorry. It comes down to how much you guys are supporting and sharing the music and commenting and liking and coming to the shows and representing and wearing merch out and telling people about songs and calling into radio stations and going and voting on Octane and all of this stuff. It's not just one thing. It's all these little pieces put on top of each other that's able to make this train move. Like everything is another piece of coal kind of thrown into the furnace to keep the train moving. Obviously, none of this is possible without you guys. So at the end of the day, I guess what I really just wanted to come on here to say is like, thank you for everything you guys have been doing. Hard Hop Gang has been the coolest community and group of people that I've been a part of. And the cool thing is like, I didn't even make it. I didn't even do it. You guys really took it and made it what it is. And when I see the tattoos and the merch you guys make and the custom vans you guys come to shows with and all this kind of stuff, it's just what I've always wanted, what we always hoped for when this whole hard hop thing started, and it didn't catch on or take off for years, but still didn't really let it go, still held on to it, and now it's become what it is. And I'm really excited to see where it goes from here. And who the fuck knows at this point, man? I've stopped putting a ceiling on anything or trying to expect what's going to happen, because I'm constantly wrong. You guys do crazy shit and you make wild things happen. If you look at everything that's happened this year, which has probably been the biggest year that I've had, not probably, for sure, you can kind of trace back everything to the fan movement and the way you guys operate, like even down to the vans. We got our own custom vans this year, which is nuts. But that doesn't happen without you guys, first off, bringing vans to shows for me to sign. Secondly, tagging vans in all of your pictures throughout the years. Third is when we had to throw the gas on the fire to get them to notice you guys were there to make it happen. I feel like I keep going off on random tangents, but that's what this long form content is for, finally. I wanted to be able to come on here and just talk about the record and talk about the tour and how excited I am. I mean, I'm incredibly overwhelmed and nervous and anxious about a record dropping. How's it going to perform? How's the tour going to perform? Of course, I'm like a human being. I start to think that maybe I'm the only one, but then I talk to friends of mine and they're all thinking the same thing. So I think it's important for someone to come out and at least be transparent of like, yeah, this shit is fucking scary, man. You want to do well, of course, especially in a business where it's like your music is a reflection of you as a human being in a sense. I don't know. Maybe that's it. Is there anything else that I need to say? The tickets are on sale right now for the tour. Meet and greet tickets are on sale right now for the tour, all at ekohmusic.com. Signed CDs are available in the store. We also have really, really dope merch bundles. I think I have the hat on. I do. These are sick. Got the pressure on the side. These are very dope. So, wait, is there anything else? Is that it?
The podcast?
Podcast. Yes. Damn, we are doing a lot of shit. Yes, the podcast. Everybody's been asking about. The podcast is back. I'm not sick, but I'm not well. We have I think 6 episodes locked in the bank to start dropping while we're on tour. I got episodes with Vinjay, with Sky Daddy, with TJ Lavin, my homie Iron Sanctuary, Charlie Classic. We're going to have the Pretty Wild on here as well. My homie Braden Safransky. There's a lot. It's very, very dope, and I'm super excited for it. So be on the lookout for that as well. It will start dropping when we are on tour. I don't know. What else could we possibly be doing right now? Sleeping. Sleeping is good. That maybe we should get some sleep before this tour starts. Listen, I love you guys so much. Thank you for all the support this year. It's been incredible, but it's not over yet. The album drops October 29th. The tour starts October 25th. Check the dates. Get your tickets while you can. We'll see you on the road. If we don't see you in your city, then we'll see you on the internet or whatever. And love y'all. Peace.